God. Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Brandon from Audio Addiction. Love to see the energy here. Hello, Jess. How are you? Anyway, tonight I decided to do an impromptu live stream. I'm typically, I would argue I'm a little bit more on the ball with things, but I wanted to review this record, and I haven't had enough time to do it, and I thought, why not do it very similarly to the way that I've been doing the Devil Wears Prada record, which if you are into them, which I would be surprised if you were, but if you were, go check that one out. It was a great time. But this is a band I've been following for quite a bit. Florescence, they released back in 2019, and they released an EP called Mind Games, I believe in 2017, something like that. And I've always been following what they've been doing recently, and I wanted to do a review of this record because I am a big fan. I love Florescence a ton. I kind of regret not reviewing it. So in an effort to feel less guilty, I have decided to review this record. So very exciting. If you're not familiar with this band, they are a pop rock, pop punk, indie-ish sort of band from Australia. They do definitely have some like alt sounds as well. But fantastic band. Really underrated. They're currently signed with Fearless Records, and I feel like this album got heavily swept under the carpet. And so I wanted to do a review of this and listen to it. Hopefully you enjoy it and go check them out because they're awesome. And honestly, they deserve a lot more love than what they've been given. So hopefully, eat your heart out if you're watching this. Love you guys. You're great. Come on the channel if you'd like to. That'd be awesome. But it's very cool. And I'm all about it. So let's go give it a listen. The first track is Forget Me. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to answer the question from Jess here. I don't know if the band is named, if the name predates the movie or they named the band before the movie came out. So that's up to discretion. I have no idea where that lies, but I want to say that the band came before the movie. I'm going to take that stance. That's going to be my stance. But anyway, this album is called Can't Stay Forever, as the title suggests. I have not listened to anything on this record, so this is going to be fresh, hot, fresh, clean, all that sort of stuff. Very exciting. So get into it. Meryl Streep is not on vocals. I'm sorry to disappoint. Yeah, it's big sad. But anyway, gonna get into Eat Your Heart Out, Can't Stay Forever. This is the first song in a song of 12, I think, 11 or 12, and very excited to get into it. So let's listen to Forget Me, which is the first track. All right, this is cool. I feel like this chorus is gonna hit. Oh yeah. Love the bass. Super bass heavy. I like it. The layering's super tight on this song too. Ooh, I like the punch of this bridge. It's fucking sick. All right. That was a good first track. Guys, if you tuned in, this is Eat Your Heart Out, and it's their newest album, Can't Stay Forever, out now. Fearless Records. To answer your question, Jess, there is a movie, The Devil Wears Prada, starring Meryl Streep, as well as Anne Hathaway. And then there is a band called The Devil Wears Prada, which is a metalcore band, and it's fronted by two guys. So I don't know if that alleviates any sort of confusion there, but that's it. Jess also said this is a good car cruising song. Can agree. Love it. I do think that I really like Caitlin's voice. She's the female lead here in the band. I think she brings a lot of great energy to it. I always think of the song Carousel from their previous record, Florescence, and I've always liked her tonality. I mean, I feel like it's really cool to hear. They're from Australia, so it's really cool to hear kind of more of the Australian sort of accent in her voice. I know it's maybe more not as prevalent in like more of a stronger chorus or like a stronger bridge, but in some of the more softer sections, I think you can definitely attenuate some of those sounds that you would hear in her accent, which I think is really nice. I think the instrumentation's really well put together. I love that the bass is a little bit more at the forefront, I would say, argue, on this track. There is a good mix. I don't know who they went for production-wise on this record, but whoever it is did a really great job of separating the different layers going on in the track, whether it be the guitar parts, the vocals, some of the drumming, as well as the bass lines. There's just a good mix of everything, and I think that is what really made the song interesting to me. Not only that, obviously, but also as well as the just guitar playing, which is usually a focal point that I typically stick to as a guitar player myself. Those are things that I kind of initially point out. I will also say that I love the bridge in this song. I think that was really just has a really great energy. It's got really this sort of indie-ish vibe to it. And I like that they have kind of evolved and grown since Florescence, because that came out in 2019. And I think there's just a little bit more energy, a little bit more vibes going on here than I think some of the other songs that I've listened to from their catalog. But yeah, I'd say it's a good opener. Really liked it. Fun, vibey track. So we're going to get into the next song here, which actually comes with a music video. So very excited about this one, guys. So this one's track number 2. This one's Down. So let's give it a listen. Sick music video too. Strong focal point on drums and bass for sure. This really breaks out. I like it. Nice switch up. Oh, nice. Little guitar solo. Little lead action. Nice. All right. That ending was a nice switch up. That was cool. Are you all right, you guys? I don't know what I was trying to say there. All right, you guys. If you just tuned in, this is track number 2 off of Eat Your Heart Out's newest record, Can't Stay Forever, via Fearless Records. It's already out now, so go pick it up if you can. I enjoyed this one. This one, I did see little clips here and there on Instagram, I believe. And I enjoyed this sort of more darker tonality that it has going on in this track. I think the chord phrasings and some of the way that the structure of the album has been has been really interesting. I think the song arrangements have been really cool. Not of the atypical sort of nature, which I do appreciate. I will say I did notice that I think from this current record and the previous record, Florescence, I think they lost a member. And so you can kind of hear a little bit of that sort of disconnect in terms of, I want to say that there was a lack of guitar because there was still certainly a lot of guitar parts in there, but you can tell that there was kind of, I guess, a shift in how the sound changed as a band collectively. There is some things going on that I felt like, okay, the way that they may have approached it in previous albums doesn't kind of reflect what they're going for now, which is 100% okay because, you know, bands change, they evolve, they grow. But it does definitely have a completely different way of going about some of the ways that the songs are arranged, which could be interpolated as a bad thing, but I actually kind of like it. I think that it makes the songs a little bit more unique, a little bit more interesting. I think it helps me get invested a little bit more in the way that it goes about. I do want to comment on the music video itself. I thought it was very well put together. There were certain parts where I thought it was like maybe like Unreal Engine 5, where they kind of like put some like they like green screened it and threw them into like kind of a a virtual reality kind of thing, which I thought was really interesting. And then just the way that the kind of the kind of like I'm not even trying to think of the word, honestly, like hologram of themselves in that sort of like either pink coloration or like blue. I thought that was really neat, and I like that it kind of played off the lighting of the actual stage that they were going on. So I think it was very methodical in the way that they put it together. Song, however, it definitely makes the guitar playing, I think it was really cool too, because like I mentioned at the beginning of the song, I did like the fact that there was such a difference in the way that the bass and the drums kind of interact now that there's just one guitar player. I thought that was really neat, and I think it allows the guitar to be like more melodic, and for the bass to kind of take more of the like rhythmic portions of the song, which was I thought was really nice. So really cool. I'm all about it. Jess says that was like when Chiodos made that record without Craig. So different. A different member can change so much. 100%. I will say that I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this, but I actually like. I actually love the Illuminatio, the album with Brandon, who did the vocals for that Chiodos record. I think he's fantastic. I think Craig is, when I think about him, I think about like Cinematic Sunrise, or I think about Drugs. Of course, those are the two bands that I think about. Not that I don't like early Chiodos stuff. I still love Bone Palace. And I'm really blanking on the first record, but love those two. So I do have a lot of Craig Owens love, regardless. But outside of that, like this song, I think it's a good kind of. I like that it's darker. I noticed that like lyrically and thematically, as well as like musically, it's a little bit more like in that sort of emo kind of range, where they're using a lot of more like minor chords and a lot more structure to kind of fill out some of the songs, and I appreciate that. As someone who's heavily invested in music, I think that's really neat. So kudos to Eat Your Heart Out. Go check out the music video. I'll leave the link to the playlist in the description, so go give it a listen. Also, there will be a link in the description to go find out about Eat Your Heart Out as well, so go give them some love. But we're going to move into the next track, guys. Have not listened to this one yet. This one is called Scissors in My Skin. We'll give it a listen. All right. I like it. What a nice vocal line. Wow. I really like this one a lot. It's got the vibes. nice. It changed it up. I thought they were gonna totally break out in this bridge. That was a nice change up. I appreciate that. The push on this song is great. Alright guys, just tuned in. Track number 3 is Scissors in My Skin. I enjoyed this one a lot. I think this one's my favorite thus far. I love the vocal melody that Caitlin's bringing on this track. Super well done. I like that it's at like the more like mid to higher range that she has. I think that really kind of I think that really shows off a lot of the potential that she has in terms of her vocals. In the past, I've always appreciated the way that she's kind of been able to like antiquate some of her vocal melodies into songs, and I feel like now that there's a lot more openness in these songs thus far, I think there's been a lot more opportunity for her to show off her talents melodically, and I think this song has more of that sort of vibe to what she's doing, so appreciate that. I also, as I stated earlier, I love the fact that a lot more of these songs have more of an open feel to them. I think that there's just a lot more spatial awareness going on in the way that the songs are arranged and the way that the tracks are put together. I think that the drums definitely took a lot more of the sort of driving force in this track, where you can definitely hear a lot of the kick drums, a lot of the snare, and the way that the song progresses rhythmically with the drumming, and I appreciate that. I think that's really cool, because it's very rare that I feel like the drummer is being kind of the driving force behind it. I think, you think about like vocals or the way that even sometimes guitars maybe start off with the song, but I think that for the drumming to kind of be more the centerpiece of the song, I think is really nice, and I think it's a different change of pace, and I think that I like that the way that they've been able to do different things with the way that the songs have been arranged that would make it just a little bit more interesting to, I think, new time listeners, because it does feel pretty different from previous works that they've done, but yet it still has that eat your heart out sort of like quintessential sound that I feel like they've kind of built over the past 2 records and EP now, which I think is really nice. But yeah, I really enjoyed Caitlin's vocal parts. I thought she's doing really phenomenal thus far. I'm just waiting for a song that just has a lot more of a like swing or energy to it. Like when I think of Eat Your Heart Out, I'm like, man, Carousel is such a like a bop of a track that I really hope that there are some songs on here with this, but I also think that musically and sonically maybe that's not what they're going for right now, and you can kind of hear in some of the way that the songs are put together. Like the guitar parts are a lot more melodic, and which is great. I think that's awesome, but it's not more in that sort of like pop punk kind of vibe. I feel like this is very akin to what the story so far did with like Proper Dose, where it's like there are songs that are like more Story So Far-esque, and then there's some songs that are like, these could be Story So Far songs, and like they have that familiarity to them, but it's not like the story so far, and that doesn't discount anything, because I think that I love Proper Dose as much as I love like and with Soil and Dirt. I think that equally they are both fantastic records. Under Soil and Dirt, I think equally they're both great, records in their own right, but they're also like drastically far apart in terms of when, the initial Story So Far album came out, and then the most current one, Proper Dose. So I kind of find it akin to those two things, and I appreciate they are trying to do something that is out of the box and has more of a kind of like focal point in terms of the like pop melodies. I think there's a lot of great pop sensibility going on in this album thus far, so I do like that. Jess says the Story So Far is literally one of the best bands ever. Can agreed. V, good stuff. I think that they've always had their reigns over pop punk, and I think they will continue to be. And I also have been really jamming Parker's newest album with his other band called No Pressure, which is also really great. So V, recommend. Go check them out. But we're going to move on to the next track, which is 20 Something. I did see a music video for this. Again, have not listened to it, but, if the visuals were as good as last time, I think I'm going to enjoy this one. So let's get into it. 20 Something right now. This has more of that punk sort of feel, like pop punk vibe. This is the best song thus far. I really enjoy this one. Got such a good hook. Ooh, all right. All right, guys, just tuning in. This is 20 Something off of Eat Your Heart's newest record, Can't Stay Forever. This one's my favorite thus far. I think this one had the most sort of hooks. It was immediate. That song really kind of got stuck in my head, and I do feel like it has that sort of energy to it, which I do appreciate. Oh wow, okay. Nice. I got... Am I getting blocked? I guess I am. Stream unavailable. What the hell? This is very weird. This hasn't happened the last time. I guess Fearless is a little bit more aggressive with this. This is cool. I'm about it. Oh, man. This is weird. Let's see. I wonder if I'm still, here. Let's take a listen. Let's take a look. If I'm still on here, I'll be very surprised. If I'm still here, if you can still hear me in the chat, let me know. That's probably why no one did anything. Oh, here we go. Nice, we're back. Wow. It only took a little bit. Well, that was strange. Anyway, I probably will cut that out of me just flipping out. Getting back to this song, 20 something. Wow, that's wild. Oh my god. I love YouTube. Anyway, getting back to this song, I do really like this. I think that the reason I think I enjoy it the most is just the hooks. I think the hooks are really just what drew me into this song particularly. I think the cool thing about it was that the last, I think it was like the last chorus was really the part that I thought, okay, that was really well done, and you can kind of hear some of the vocal melodies that Caitlin was trying to push for in this song, and I think there's just a lot more energy built up in this song that makes it more appealing. And I'm glad that it was one of the singles, I believe, on the record, because it does have that sort of strength that I feel like some of the other songs haven't had thus far. It's got this memorability to it. It's got a great hook. It's got a great sense of melody, and I think that's what really tuned me into what this band's about. And it kind of reminds me of that, like, kind of, I would put it in between of like Florescence and Can't Stay Forever. It's like kind of in that middle ground of like, this is like the bridge between the two albums. So which I really do like. I will also say that getting back to Jess's point here, yes, no pressure. Parker Cannon has another band, and it's more like of his old story so far, like first two record stories so far, which is nice. But anyway, despite me, getting violated here on YouTube, I think this was a really well put together music video too. I think the thing that really impressed me was just the way that they've been edited. I think that's been really cool as someone who edits their own videos. It's really interesting to see the way that some of the music videos are like thought out and arranged, and I think this one was a very good indication of great editing, as well as just cinematography. I think whoever did it was kudos to you. You did a great job. But yeah, this one's got a great hook, got a good like earworm kind of sound to it. Even like the kind of melody I'm kind of humming in my head right now. But yeah, really enjoyed this one. This was a fun track. Totes recommend, but don't listen to it on stream or you'll get stricken down. But anyway, we're gonna move into the other song because I'm apparently a glutton for punishment. So we're gonna listen to the next song here, which is Heavenly. So we listened to a little bit of it, but we're gonna go back and listen to the very beginning. So let me know what you think. Drumming, man. All right. Okay, all right. The instrumentation's so good on this. This is fire. Love it. The drumming's so cool. Oh, and the vocal arrangement, 10 out of 10. I love it. All right. They must have heard my cries. I love it. Ooh. That opens up. All right. Kudos. Cheers. This is so good. All right, Caitlin. Oh, that was sick. What? Yeah, this is great. Man, that one was a bop. 100%. That's all I have to say about that one. No, just kidding. Guys, if you just tuned in, this track is called Heavenly. Man, I love this song. This one, easily. Standout track off the album, Can't Stay Forever. I know we're probably about halfway through. But man, this one, excellent. I love the vibes of it. I think there's a lot more energy that I felt like I was lacking with some of the other songs, and this one just brought the heat. You know, it was like, you know, it's like if you watch Hot Ones, right, and you're like, man, that first wing, that ain't shit, right, and then you get to like wing number 7, you're like, okay, this is gonna kick my ass. This is what I feel like. This is what the song equates to. Also, Hot Ones reference. Anyway, no, I really enjoyed this one a lot. I think there was just a lot more energy going on. I think the vocals were really well done. Like, Caitlin really knocked it out of the park on this one. But I also want to like give a shout out to the rest of the band, because the instrumentations on this song were also really well put together. So got to give a shout out to Will, as well as Dom and Jake. They all did a fantastic job. I think the instrumentations as well as the vocals on this song just really sent this to another level. I think what they have going on was way more cohesive, I felt like, maybe than previous songs that we were listening to just now. There was something about it that just makes it more appealing and more interesting, and I think there was a lot more attention to energy. Like, the drumming patterns were super cool, the way that some of the guitar parts were arranged, and even some of the bass lines were just a little bit more intricated, like, I don't even know if that's a word, intricated into like making it more cohesive, a little bit more thought-provoking, and overall just really enjoyed this song a ton, because there was just so much energy and a lot of effort put behind it. So 10 out of 10. This one's the one thus far. This is peak right now, so I'm either hoping that there's another song that tops this one, or like we can fill out the top like 5 songs that I like on this album. But this one was very good. If I had to recommend any song off this album to anyone, it would definitely be Heavenly. This one's the one. So let's get into the next one, guys. Very exciting. This one is called Hostage. So we'll see how that pans out. All right. We got the energy. Ooh, this is good. I like this. This chorus. Chef's kiss. This chorus hits. Oh, it's good. Oh, nice leads. All right. All right, guys, if you're just tuning in, this track is called Hostage, and it's off Eat Your Heart Out's newest record, Can't Stay Forever. Can't Stay Forever. I can speak, I promise. This one was great. I love this one. This one had a great energy to it. I think that I love when they started off very, like, how you wouldn't expect it to kind of sound or go in the direction it goes in, and it really just, they really sent it home with this one. I think much like how much I like 20-something, I think this one has the hooks that much more. And once it gets to that chorus is when it's super, super solid. I also like the instrumentation. I thought that was really well put together. The little like guitar lead part was really nice. Kudos to our guitar player for the band, Will. Shoutouts to Will. But yeah, I really enjoyed the whole thing. I think the energy is a good energy to kind of match some of the other songs off the record. But this one, Chef's Kiss, we love it. Jess said, is there any chance Meatball will be able to report will be able to give his input on the record? He is a true music genius, but right now I think he's on tour of the Downstairs, so if he shows up, I'll ask him to listen in with us here, but unfortunately his musical talents are required elsewhere, so we love him though. Shout outs to Meatball, my cat, my guy. But yes, I think this one is definitely a strong runner-up in terms of the songs that I've enjoyed off the record. I think 20-something was also up there as well. I love the vibes of that one as well. I thought that was really well put together, and in terms of musicianship, peak stuff. So we're going to move it on to the next track, guys. Let's take a little peek. This one's called Blood. Ooh, blood. Ooh.
Hard to breathe, cut it down. Tunnel further in the ground. Paint the sky black and let the sun burn out. Aiming low to place the blame when there's nothing left to take.
All right.
You have it all, 'cause these rules were made to break. Hope you know this stain will never be erased. This blood is on your hands. You don't deserve a second chance. This blood is on your hands. Talking
bass riff. This one's got a lot more depth. All right, Caitlin. Oh yeah, these leads are fucking sick. Nice falsetto. Caitlin really digging deep for this song. Woo. Love it. Oh, nice little string action. All right. This is cool. I like this. Alright guys, if you're just tuning in, this is going to be track number 7 called Blood. It's off of Eat Your Heart Out's newest record, Can't Stay Forever. This one was great. I think the middle of the pack of this album has been really solid. Like I would say track 4 to track 7 thus far. They've all been hits, like, and that's awesome because I think sometimes albums suffer from having like songs that are like the singles that come out and you're like, oh my god, I love the singles, and then you get to like the meat of the album and you're like, man, I don't know if I like it, I don't know if I'm feeling this. But I with this album thus far, like some of the ones have been singles, some of the ones haven't been, and I think some of the I would argue that most of the middle of this pack has been phenomenal stuff. Blood, more specifically the one we just listened to, was really well put together. It started off a little bit odd, I will say. However, I really do feel like it came into its own, and then by the end of it, I was already sold on how much I like this track. I'm a sucker for a nice like string section, so that to me was a really cool send off. And I think that the melodic choices that Caitlin makes in terms of her vocal lines have been really well put together. I think arguably the last 3 songs that we've been listening to, Heavenly, Hostage, and Blood, I think she's been doing a really great job of like kind of hitting her like more like, I don't want to say easier range, but definitely hitting more of the like stride points at the bass line for the choruses. And then in that last chorus, she really hits you with that push. Like she's really going for it, hitting those really like different melody lines and stuff. And I think that that's really awesome because not only does it show a lot of restraint, but also at the same point, I think it shows a lot of skill as a vocalist, because you could do that and you could do that in every chorus. But I think the fact that if you can make the song more enticing or more interesting, that always sells me more than like, okay, yeah, a person can do a bunch of runs, and that's great. Like, don't get me wrong, that like, I love it. That's awesome. But I think when an artist shows a lot of restraint and chooses to do like, okay, well, I'm going to hit the choruses like this, and then once I get to that last chorus, I'm just going to really sell it. And I think that that's really cool. And You don't really hear that too much. So I had to give her kudos. So that was really well put together. And then also the fact that just the separation, as I mentioned previously in a couple different tracks, the separation of different instrumentation, whether it be the guitars, the drums, the bass. I love that they have their own time in the sun a little bit. One song doesn't feel like very guitar centric, one song doesn't feel very drum centric. I mean, they could lead in sort of the whole either rhythmic nature of the song or the melodic nature of the song, but I don't feel like there's a lot of deviation amongst like the aggressiveness of who's at the front of the pack, who's not. So I enjoy this one a ton. This one was really something that I was like, man, this is so good. So got to give a shout out to Blood. That was on point. Really enjoyed this one a ton. So we're going to move it into the next track number 8. It's going to be called Sour. Jess said, I hope he's being safe on tour and drinking lots of water. I fill that water dish like every other day. So that man be drinking. He hydrated. He fully hydrated. So big shout outs to Meatball, my cat. We're going to move into the next track. Track number 8. This one's called Sour, and it has a music video, so we're going to see if the stream gets canceled or not. Okay, let's go. I like this music video. This is cool. This music video is so cool. Oh, we're blocked again. All right, guys. Well, we did get blocked for a smidge. Blocked a little bit. I can't get over that. Anyway, if you're just tuning in, the song that I just finished listening to was Sour, off of Eat Your Heart Out newest record, Can't Stay Forever. It's track number 8. There's a music video for it. Obviously, you saw maybe like 3/4 worth of the music video, so that's kind of nice. But I thought this one was good. It's a little bit, I think this honestly to me was a little bit of a safe song, and I could totally understand why this one would be one of the singles, because it definitely has more of a pop feel to it, which is totally cool, all about it. But it has a lot of pop sensibility to it, which I can totally understand and see the direction they're going for. I think comparatively to a song like Blood that just went before this one, it's kind of a juxtaposition, which I don't know if that's intentional or not, but it feels very much like the opposite end, the yin to the yang, as some might say, to Blood, which I think was really good. I like that they've been incorporating some more like poppy or happier songs, with songs that are a little bit heavier, a little bit more darker. I like that kind of light, dark, kind of good versus it's always a good metric to have, I feel like, in some way, shape, or form. But really enjoyed this one a lot. The chorus was super tight. I think it was just kind of like all around just solid. I don't think there was anything that particularly stood out to me as a listener, but I don't think there was also stuff that I was like, like it's okay. It wasn't like the best song that I've heard off this record, but I argue it's probably not a terrible song collectively. It just didn't hit me it didn't hit me in the way that I felt like it was going to hit me, and that is totally cool. But I think for me, it had more of a pop feel to it, and like I said, off the heels of Blood, it just was kind of a little bit jarring in some ways, but liked it nonetheless. I think if I was to listen to it in the context of it being a single first and then listening to the album, I think it would make a little bit more sense cognitively. But I think also at the same point, I think there would just be such a differential of the two songs that maybe it might make it worse. Who knows? I'm obviously speaking in past tense because I haven't listened to it at the time, so I feel like it's not a good way to measure it. But overall, I think it was a solid track. Nothing too crazy, but a good one nonetheless. So we're going to move into the next track called Poison Devotion. This one is track number 9. Different feel, but I like it. kind of feels like a little lo-fi-esque. That'd be fair to say. All right, guys, that was Poison Devotion. I like it. I do feel like it's a little bit strange because it I would argue it feels slightly out of place. I could see why it would be after Sour, because Sour is more in that sort of like pop sphere of music. But yeah, it's got kind of a like lo-fi-esque ambient kind of vibe to it that I really enjoy. I think this one, subliminally, I enjoy. I'm a big lo-fi fan. Like when I'm not editing and listening to, or doing this where I'm live streaming and listening to an album, I'm actually listening to a lot of lo-fi. So it's just good. I think it just like motivates me somehow in some very weird way. But besides that, I do like listening to it, and I think electronic music has been making more of a resurgence in terms of like modern music. Like I think of the new Ocean's 8 Alaska record, which is more like they have a lot of like stupid heavy like mathcore elements to their music, but then they actually had a producer do a lot of like lo-fi beats and threw them into the song, which I think is wild. Like some of the songs were arranged because of a specific beat, so I thought that was really neat, no pun intended. And I just like the way that it's thought out. Like I think after a song where it's more poppy, it's a little bit more vibey, this one fits very well in the grand scheme of how the rest of the album, or that specific song Sour, fits right after. I do like that, and I think Poison Devotion is a good like counterpoint to Sour, certainly. And overall enjoyed it. I don't think it was like, if I were to recommend this to someone, I probably wouldn't recommend this song to listen to off I Can't Stay Forever, but I like that it's kind of more of a deep cut. It's a nice song to just throw on and have within the scheme of the album, but I don't feel like it degrades or detracts from the album in some way. But I also feel like it doesn't. The thing that it adds to it is that the fact that it's different. It's got a different vibe, a different sound to it, and I think if anything, it shows us the abilities of what Eat Your Heart can do. You think of songs like Sour and Poison Devotion that more closely aligned to what you hear on the radio, or closer to that, I would imagine. I mean, obviously not to the exact point, but has more of that sort of radio-friendly vibe. And then you have songs like Blood, Heavenly Hostage, where they're a little bit more aggressive. They're a little bit more like in that sort of pop punk lane. So I do like that they have been doing the flip-flop sort of thing, and I'm hoping that there are, since we're on the last two songs, I'm hoping that the last two kind of like culminate everything. So we'll find out. But this is track number 10. This one's called Deep End. Let's go give it a listen. Nice reverse reverb.
Try to find, realize there's no control.
The guitar effects on the song are tight.
Falling through my hands. And despite all my fear, I will let go. Forget about all my unlaid plans. Find
like that vocal line.
I'm floating deep end, like I've got nothing to lose. Anyone feel the same? Can't stay forever.
Yeah, this is what I was expecting the build to be. Nice.
Into another phase where everything has changed. Wanna find a way, I'm not one to wait.
Ooh.
Nothing's
All right.
how it was or how it's supposed to be. Anyone feel the same? Like I've got nothing to lose. I'm floating deep end, like I've got nothing to lose.
All right, guys, if you're just tuning in, this is track number 10 off of Eat Your Heart Out's newest record, Can't Stay Forever, on Fearless Records. I swear to God, I'm going to get good one time before this is over with. I have one more chance. But anyway, getting back to the song at hand, Deep End. This one, I was a little unsure of how it was going to go. I think sonically, I wish they went into more of a different direction with this one, but nonetheless, I thought it was a solid song. I did think when she hit that big note in that first chorus, I thought for sure we were gonna get more of a musical push to be like more aggressive. Like, I think there was such a build to the song that I was almost like I was disappointed, because I think that it could have grown to this, like, it could have blown up, right? And I think that they did that in that second chorus, which is super tight, but it almost felt like there was this opportunity to do it sooner and they just chose not to, which I guess pays dividends a little bit, because in the second chorus they wind up, doubling down and doing it. But I think at some point you're gonna lose that sort of like intuition, or you're gonna lose that sort of like ability to be like, all right, like, I'm gonna wait for the second chorus. Like, most people are like, all right, if it's not within the first verse or pre-chorus, then like it ain't hidden, and I felt like this one was a smidge bit of a letdown. I think the song as a whole collectively I really enjoyed, but I wish there was like maybe a little bit more of an energy or a little bit more of a push to make it more I don't even want to say entertaining, because that's a really terrible word, especially within music. But like, I wish that they would have arranged it in a more traditional fashion, because I think that it would have benefited the song a little bit more, as opposed to just waiting for that next push. Like, you got to the chorus and you're like, all right, when's it gonna happen, right? And then they went into the second verse, and then went into the second pre-chorus, and then they actually hit you with the chorus, which is probably about like midway, if not like more than midway through the song. So that would be my only gripe about it. I think vocally, I think it's well done. I think instrumentally too, it's also well put together, despite my gripe on how the song should be arranged. But overall, I thought it was solid. Nothing too crazy to write home about, but I do like, I think the thing that I enjoy mostly about this album thus far has been the way that Caitlyn has been reserved in the way that she sings in some ways, where there's some songs she goes all out, and there's some songs where, in the sort of softer parts, she chooses her parts more carefully and more methodically, and I like that. And then, you get hit with some of those big notes, and you're like, okay, she definitely has the tonality, she definitely has the tenacity to sing those big notes. I just maybe wish that they would come along a little bit sooner than just waiting. So I don't know, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down there. Anyway, the last track, guys, we're gonna move it into the last song off the album. I know, I can't believe it. But this is the last song. This one's going to be called Head First. Let's get into it. All right. They must have listened to me. Ooh. Okay.
But I forgot.
Ooh. Nice change. All right. All right. I'm sorry for talking shit. Vocals are awesome on this. All right. Kudos. Eat your heart out. This is good. I like this. All right. I like that. That was tight. Nice little stop. All right. Wow. All right. That ending. On point. Loved it. That was great. All right, guys, if you tuned in for the last song, this last song is called Head First, and it's off of Eat Your Heart Out's newest record, Can't Stay Forever. Links below. Go check them out. This one was really good. I think I was giving them a little bit too much shit on like some of the way that songs were arranged, but overall, I think this was a great closer song. I think the energy was there certainly. I think vocally as well. I would argue this is one of the better performances off the record from Caitlin in terms of her vocals. I love the layering going on there. I think the way that their producer had put some of the vocal chains going on in this song, I think make it a little bit more interesting. Some of the way that they arrange the song in terms of like rhythmic patterns and like as well as like the instrumentation of it, I think was really well thought out, and I like that. So for me, this one, great closer track. I would argue it was one of the better songs. I would probably put this up in my favorites off the album. But if I had to recommend any of the songs to listen to, I would definitely recommend the middle three songs of the album, which are Heavenly, Hostage, and Blood. Honorable mention, I would say Head First. I think that one also deserves some notoriety. But I think those three songs in the middle really kind of set the tone for what I know and love about Eat Your Heart Out, but I also feel like they can branch off and do a lot of different things with those three songs, particularly. But I do, I also don't want to discount some of the other songs off this album because I really feel like they went out and did something different. Even 20 something I'd also include in some of my honorable favorites off this album. So it'd probably be like Heavenly first, Hostage second, Blood third, or maybe like Heavenly, Blood, Hostage, and then I'd probably put Head First and then 20 something as the two honorable mentions just to kind of round out my five. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think they did a lot of experimentation with their sound. So if you did like Florescence, there are some songs that I feel like you will enjoy. However, I do think they took a lot of different liberties in terms of the like sort of pop elements, the way that the songs are kind of put together. I think there's a lot of things going on that are good with this record. I'm totally not here to like dog shit on the album because I don't feel like it deserves it, and first and foremost, and secondly, I enjoyed all of it. I think it was all very different. Obviously I do have an opinion on some of the other songs that are considered my favorite, and some other songs that you might like when listening to this album you might enjoy that I like, that I liked, or there might be songs that I didn't like that you liked, and that's certainly up to anyone's discretion. But I think what they're doing here is different, and I appreciate the fact that they decided, as this being their second full length, to try to experiment and do different things. And I think that they definitely took a lot of different influences, a lot of different takes. But overall, I think it's a good collective of songs. Would I argue that it's better than Florescence? I will say I probably have put a lot more mileage on Florescence, so I feel like that's a little bit of a biased take. But I would argue there are some merits on this album that separate it from Florescence, but then there's also songs that kind of tie into that album specifically as well. So I think that they're going through a transitional period, and then they're going to choose whether or not they want to kind of continue that more like aggressive edge, or if they want to go kind of in the pop direction. That's at least from what I could gather, because you have songs like Deep End, Sour, Poison Devotion that have more of that sort of like more mass appeal kind of vibe to it. Even Scissors in My Skin a little bit. But I also think that, you have songs like Down that are a little bit more on that sort of, like alt side. So I think that they're trying to play to a bunch of different markets, which, could totally respect as an artist. But I don't want to see them be stretched so thin that they are doing some more pop stuff, and then they're doing some more alt stuff, and then they're doing some heavier stuff. Like, I think if they kind of keep it within that same sort of genre pool, there's probably a pretty good chance that the next album would be in that sort of vibe or lane. But overall, I thought it was solid. I don't think it was like the craziest record I've heard this year, but I also don't think it was like particularly bad by any means. I think there were some songs that resonated with me more, and I think that there were other songs that, like, sonically I just wouldn't have associated Eat Your Heart Out with, but I'm glad that they are incorporated. So guys, let me know in the comments what you think. The album has been out for, I think, a little over a week-ish, so let me know what you think in the comments below if you happen to check this out. I want to also give a shout out to Eat Your Heart Out. They did check out my story and my post, so if you do happen to watch this, I'm sorry if you felt like a dog shat on you. I totally did not. And I'd love to have your side of the story and how you guys kind of put the record together and stuff like that. So that'd be very cool. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. I also want to mention, and I mentioned this in the last video that I posted that was also live, if you're new to the channel, please like, comment, subscribe. It means a lot. First and foremost. And the second thing is, if you're really into Spotify and you want to still listen to my stuff, all the interviews that I have, I'm trying to convert and move them over to Spotify. I have a Spotify page. If you just type in audioaddictionmedia, it should come up. There is a trailer, so if you can go check that out, that'd be great. I'll make sure to share it on all of my social medias once I have some content up. The trailer is the only thing right now, and then I will inevitably move every episode that I've ever created onto the Spotify, or at least most of them, So very excited about that, and I hope that you check it out there because you can listen to it at any time, which is really nice. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. The only other live stream for this week, I believe I'm doing one on Friday, which I'm going to be listening to the new Wonder Years record, which I'm very excited about. So if you want to come hang out and you want to hear the Wonder Years record with me, make sure to hit that bell so you know when I go live. But I'm going to be listening to that album, so I'm very excited. I listened to Sister Cities. I actually did a review of that a few years ago, so I am very excited. I feel like I've always kind of missed the train on the Wonder Years, but like as of recently, they've been really hitting. So I'm hoping that I'm hoping this album's good. I don't feel like they disappoint. So we'll see what happens. But let me know in the comments what other albums you'd like me to react to. Hopefully I don't get DMCA'd, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Love all of you. Means a lot. So hopefully you'll be checking out the next live stream in the coming weeks, and also just interviews Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Check them out. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for watching, and then let me know if you have any other suggestions for me. Hope to talk to you guys soon. Peace.